Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our next panelist. Thank you so much.
So good afternoon. Thank you so much, everybody. Hope you had a great lunch. I know mine was great. It was yesterday, so thank you to the organizers. Great morning. Had a great information about different subjects today. I'm talking a little bit about AI. Mondo, BMA Group. We're a staffing and outsourcing firm, recruitment. Founded in Puerto Rico 20 years ago, and now already in 23 countries throughout Latin America. And with me is Herbert Lewy. Herbert is General Manager for Central America and the Caribbean for Microsoft. Of course, we're behind Microsoft. And about Herbert, I know they introduced him already, but what I admire most about him and why he's here today is his passion and leadership and technology and how it applies to improve our lives. So, Herbert, thank you so much for joining us today. Well, today we're going to discuss the work trend index report. I don't know if you follow it, but it comes out once a year by Microsoft and, of course, the partnership or the ownership of LinkedIn. They generate some valuable information about what's going on in the workforce or the work. And this year has really good information about AI and how AI is impacting the work. And we're going to talk about that today. To me, the two biggest takeaways from this report were how 75% of employees at the workplace today are very interested in AI. They're not providing it, but 78% of them are bringing it. So we need to talk about this. It's certainly impacting AI and it's impacting the life that we have every day. So I have a couple of questions about that, and I wanted to go dive right into it here with Herbert. So how would you say, how does AI reshape work and the labor market?
First, thank you so much, Franco, for the opportunity to have this conversation. Thanks everyone for attending. A tough call after lunch, so we start.
Yes.
But I hope that some of the data points and insights will be triggering something. I believe success will be if we create some sort of healthy relation for people coming back to their places, offices, businesses, and do something about some of the topics that we'll be discussing. So first, and I know that there were some conversations about AI today with Herbert, with Tony, and many others. But let me probably frame this moment in time. It's important to start from the get-go, probably looking back 7 years ago when we started to talk in the World Economic Forum in Davos about this fourth industrial revolution, the digital transformation as its foundation. And it turned almost into a cliche. So everyone was talking about digital transformation everywhere. But from my perspective, it has a very deep meaning because I am seeing in digital transformation the real democratization of the access to the opportunity. Because for the first time in history of humankind, we have the same technology at the same time and at the same price in every single corner of the planet. And that's giving us a huge edge in places like Puerto Rico. That's leveling the field and giving opportunities. And with that, and for those who are talking in our table about the book, of course, the age of physical machines, in which he was referring about the moments of accelerations of results. And this was exactly what started to happen at a very accelerated pace after we started to talk about the fourth industrial revolution. And mostly that happens when you start to combine disruptions in a synergetic fashion to accelerate more disruption. We were talking about AI for decades. Nonetheless, the combination of three disruptions is cloud computing, is hyperscale computing with access to this environment that is literally zero, and the possibility to scale it to virtually infinite. So that is a huge power. So you combine that with data, mostly non-structured data that we have growing exponentially, plus algorithms that are available more and more in the same affordability that accelerate the AI. So we started to talk about AI in an exponential fashion a couple of years ago. And then we had more iterations. So we started to talk about large language models, probably doing what discussed, generative AI. Generative AI, probably 1 year and a half ago, and before that, probably we weren't considering what it was in, let's say, in a daily basis. But when it works, so in less than 3 months, it surpassed the threshold of 100 million users. It's a huge democratization. It was actually a record. And before that, the technology that surpassed these 100 million users was in 9 months. And that started mostly in a personal environment for people that are playing with it and some personal use cases. But immediately started to move towards the labor market and the workspace. So that's part of the disruption. Just to mention, in addition to that, we're talking about the fifth wave of compute disruption, starting by the PC, then internet, then smartphone, mobile, and finally cloud. The fifth one is AI and generative AI. And we are seeing in a daily basis the impact of it. And as Franco mentioned, it's important to also frame the moment that this number appeared. So we're talking about this year. If we look back 6 months, we realize that we doubled the amount of users of generative AI that knowledge workers that are using it for their daily work. So we doubled in 6 months the amount, which is 3 out of 4 individuals are using it. So it's extremely powerful, it's happening today, and there are a lot of nuances, and I would love to talk about that during the session, but to come directly to the World Trade Index and explain what it is, you mentioned part of it is a reaction to this AI inertia, this AI momentum, and trying to understand in depth what is the impact in the workspace of Microsoft and LinkedIn joining forces, serving 31,000 individuals in 31 countries, including countries obviously of Latin America and the Caribbean, and gathering information of all types. So talking about labor trends and hiring, mostly coming from LinkedIn, then gathering trillions of Microsoft 365 productivity signals that are extremely relevant for the knowledge worker workday, and even getting research from Fortune 500, all combined is done data points extremely relevant. That's why I have this cheat sheet, because it's a lot of information here, and I don't want to miss any data point. And mostly these insights, how that impact our decisions. So professionals and leaders that are in this room, hopefully will take advantage. It's free, it's available today, you can download it, and hopefully we can be able to shape the decisions that we're making towards the future.
Yeah, it's amazing. I don't know if any of you have found yourselves. Earlier this morning, somebody mentioned they have entire conversations in the car with AI. The adoption that you mentioned is incredible. How quickly the adoption is gone. Earlier this morning, they mentioned how somebody has conversations with AI in the car. I don't know if anyone's ever done this, but I found myself saying, "Hey Siri, open Alexa." So as we adopt more and more AI, no wonder it's going for the history board. It's talking so much about it. But can you tell us a little bit about how Microsoft's solution, recruit the right candidates that will embrace and utilize AI for greater productivity? How do we do that in the recruitment place?
Yeah, and once I ask to give some context, the first reaction, the first point is that it is proven today that employees want AI at work. So these 75% of knowledge workers using AI is pretty evident. But it's also interesting to mention that 78% of these people are bringing their own AI. So as we used to talk about BYOD, bring your own device, now we're talking about bring your own AI. And why that happens? Mostly two things are referred to the data that was gathered. The first one is that we have an overwhelming pace and volume of work, and people and employees are finding in AI a relief. This AI is part of the solution, is the help. And on the other side, we are seeing a lack of guidance and clear vision coming from the top. So that's why they are building their own stuff, which is somehow dangerous. So it's much better to lead from the top in that sense and have governance and stuff. It's important to mention that in terms of leadership, 79% of the leaders, they believe their companies need to adopt AI to stay competitive. And 60% of them worry their organization's leadership lacks a plan of action, as I mentioned. So you see the nuances. And 59% of them are trying to find with detail the productivity gains in specific. So eventually it comes to a paralysis by analysis that we have to get out of this trap because people are clearly defining what they need. The second point that is relevant here is that work has evolved. And it has evolved and accelerated. And people are feeling it and are somehow telling us with clarity, talking about 68% of the people that say that they are really struggling with their volume of work and the pace of work. And even more, 46%, almost half of the people surveyed, mentioned that they are burned out. Clearly, burnout could be a subject topic, but it's important to take that into consideration in our organizations. And why is that? You see in different aspects that I want to share a couple of points here. For example, email overload is one point that continues to exist. I'm talking about 85% of the emails are read in less than 15 seconds. And people normally would have to read 4 emails to be able to create one. When it goes to meetings and other environments, we have some interesting signals gathered by Microsoft 65 in that case. For example, 60% of the time spent by the knowledge worker is correlated to emails, to chats, and to meetings, while only 40% is mostly on the side of what could be creative work related to documents like Excel, PowerPoint, and other stuff. So, in contrast to all that, it's important to mention the reaction that people had working with AI. 90% said that they are saving time using AI. 85% that they are focused on the most important work. 84% mentioned that they can be more creative. And 83% mentioned that they are enjoying more their work. The third point that I think is important to mention is that clearly it's part of the insights that we gathered from the report from the study, is that future-looking leaders and organizations clearly they think and act differently. And that is super important to consider, also to assess ourselves. How is our position today? And here it's important to mention, extremely familiar leaders with AI, they would probably look ahead 5 years and think about the redesign of their business processes and how to build the company from the ground up with AI. Talking about 38% of them, those connected to pre-orchestration, 42% that are thinking about training teams of AI agents or like AI bots, and 47% that taking very seriously ethically AI. So these are numbers that are extremely eloquent, and I believe we should take that into consideration when you talk about the different roles that appear. So first, the role of the company taking leadership, extending capabilities and skills to their employees. Sometimes we're talking about stuff that is completely free. So I think they offers multiple trainings that you can build a curriculum with that. Extremely powerful. And when you see this type of companies also are embracing a sort of new roles like head of AI as a must-have leadership role in the organization, that grew in the past 5 years, that tripled the amount of companies having this type of role, and only in 2023, we're talking about 28%. Just to close, clearly with Microsoft AI solutions can give us significant edge and enhance all the recruitment process. The Copilot already uses it, can screen resumes, we can conduct these initial assessments and also to be sure that the people that are bringing to the organization is well versed on AI as a productivity edge for this company.
Now, these numbers you mentioned, Herbert, they're wonderful numbers. 79% of the leaders want AI in organizations. But do they have a plan? Apparently, no. The majority does not. 90% of the employees that are using it say they're saving time. So there's more time available. They're doing things that are more important. So we want people that are using AI. So that's a little bit about how to. We have this great tool called Pilot. I can tell you how we do it at BMA. It's interesting walking through the work floor, and we see people using different AI for different things, and it's interesting because we're all learning from each other. I'm a senior VP at the company, and half of the staff is 20-something years old, and I'm walking by and learning how they use it. Then they don't like it, they learn how I use it. But when it comes to recruiting, formally, the organizations, everybody here is either a leader in an organization or an employee at one. So how can we use more AI, or Copilot in this case, to identify the candidates with potential for growth, particularly in roles where upskilling is crucial for career progression? How can we do that?
That's a great point because sometimes we talk about the different generations that are part of the labor market. You have people that are already retired. Somehow they already made their life and made their contribution. They are out. And the newcomers mostly are coming with the right mindset to embrace AI and other innovations in a faster way. But what happened with us? With those in between that really need to reskill. The 50-somethings? The 50-somethings, yes. I'm 24, but that's 50
just as an example.
in different groups, exactly. So, the numbers are pretty eloquent here too, the report. 71% of the leaders, they say that if they have to choose, they will choose less experienced people or less versed in some specific vertical area, but with AI skills rather than all the way around. And the number comes to a worse data point. 66% were saying that they wouldn't hire someone without AI skills at all. So that is the relevance that AI is having these days. On the other hand, employees are seeing that AI and this democratization of the opportunity that I mentioned could break this career ceiling. So 76% say that they need AI skills to continue and stay competitive in the labor market. But 79% are seeing it as an opportunity to grow their careers and the opportunities towards the future. When you look at the profiles in LinkedIn and how that has been evolving, is super relevant to mention that including skills and capabilities like ChatGPT or a Copilot or so, as part of the resume or the profile, have multiplied by 142 in the past years. And clearly we're starting from a very low point because this technology didn't exist, but the important and relevant point to consider is that people are really taking care of that and feeling pride in including these elements. At the same time, as part of the data points of the report, said that leaders are missing an opportunity to skill their own people. Only 39% of the people that are well-versed in generative AI have received the trainings in the organizations. And it gets worse because only 25% of the companies are planning to implement this type of trainings in that career. So it's pretty significant. When you look at, and you mentioned the upskilling and stuff that we have to take into consideration, stuff that's changing. If we position ourselves in 2016 and we looked ahead to 2030, we were projecting that 50% of the skills would have changed in this period of time in the market spaces in general. But now with generative AI, that increased 18 points to 68%. So these data points are, once again, an aha moments, common for many, to look also in our own lives, what are we doing and how we're positioning in front of the opportunity of embracing AI. In terms of and this is probably the hidden elephant in the room, in terms of AI replacing jobs, the data points are showing a very interesting nuance in that sense, that is more weighted towards the hidden data, the hidden shortage in terms of talent out there, the issues that we're facing with employees that are, somehow is mentioned this way, teaching to quit their jobs and work, and finally the opportunity that is created with this AI opportunity. In that sense, I have two sides to refer here. One is that basically leaders are hiring. The data shows that the majority of the leaders, 55%, are now concerned in reality to get the right talent in the upcoming years for the roles that they have to fill. And that goes across functions, but when you go to specifics, like cybersecurity, engineering, or in design, the number jumps to 60. On the other side, employees are looking. So that's an interesting thing. So 45% mentioned that their jobs can be replaced totally or partially, but 46% mentioned that they were looking to quit their job in the next year. And it grew from 2021, that was 41%. So just to close this part, I will mention about the technical and non-technical resources that are in the marketplace. As you're seeing that in the past 8 years, the AI talent, mostly technical, have been growing 323%, which is a huge amount, but now is shifting towards the non-technical talent. Why is that? Because technology is getting more and more pervasive, and generative AI is killing for business people. So the technical stuff is mostly to support that. So I have more information, but the time is going super fast.
I'm sure you do, and it's amazing. These numbers are spot on. You know, how 71% of leaders are willing to see a candidate with less experience as long as they have AI skills. That really resonates in my mind. You know, we've been recruiting for so long, and when we get an order, the first thing we used to go to was, you know, what education do they need? What experience do they want? What kind of functions will they execute? And that occupied about 75% of the order. When we look at orders today, when we're talking to our clients on how we build a job profile to do a recruitment, you know, I say take job forms, throw them out the window and start from scratch. Because the thing I like it is, it goes along with what you mentioned earlier. Please bring it into the conversation how this is not an evolution but a revolution. You know, I had a competitor, a headhunter, called me some time ago. And asked me about my experience. We're looking to hire me for the company. And they asked me about my experience, and they said, they bring that fits. They asked me about my knowledge, okay, that fits. So what did you study at university? I said, management. And they said, I'm sorry, but we need somebody with marketing. I said, so you're disqualifying me because 30 years ago I did study marketing. They didn't even have internet 30 years ago when I went to college. Some people understand. But anyhow, that changes how we do recruitment. That changes how we choose who we're going to choose. And as we move into that moves us into our next question, you know. I think I know, but I'd like Microsoft to tell me, you know, what traits or competencies should we look for in candidates who can become power users in our organizations, who will lead, you know, the implementation, the productivity improvements. What kind of skills do we be looking for?
Well, that's a critical point, because also our users normally are the champions that start to lead the transformation, the cultural transformation from the inside. And let me tell you that this is probably the most important thing today, to make this cultural shift and think differently. So for recruiters, they should be looking at candidates that are receiving a combination of mostly two types of let's say ways of thinking and embracing value. In that sense, talking about technical proficiency and innovative thinking. So that's clearly cultural in what sense. And the data showed we can manage the data to find out a broad range of people going from the skeptics that we call it, that they rarely use AI, towards the power users that we mentioned that basically are trying to benefit of AI all over and every time that's possible. And those who are embracing AI in the workspace in an excellent fashion, trying to implement and use it all over, they are getting benefits that are pretty significant. We're talking about, in average, 10 minutes per day. And this study was conducted probably 6 months ago or less. So now we are seeing new waves of innovation and value that is coming from generative AI. So these numbers will be growing for that. So that only the 30 minutes a day is 10 hours a month. And in addition to that, 90% of these power users mentioned that the overwhelming work they have normally was much more manageable. They mentioned that they could focus on the most important and strategic tasks, that they enjoy much more the work. And clearly these power users haven't been born power users. They are made in the organizations. So it's critical for us to understand what is the role of the company to make these power users a power user. So we could have a critical role. And when you think about the cultural shift, it's important also to make this mind shift in every single thing that we do in a daily basis. And these power users are really staying longer trying to resolve the issue that they have in front of them using Gen AI. So that creates like an accelerated fashion, a positive cycle of the power users become more power users. Finally, to talk about the type of company that creates the right environment for these power users to thrive. Once again, the data points are very interesting here. Probably in these companies, these people are 61% more likely to have heard from the CEO the importance of using generative AI at work. 53% have been encouraged by leaders to use AI at work. And finally, 35% were more likely in these companies to receive universal and tailored training for them to become more experts in AI. I have more information, but the time is right.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. Sorry, I forgot about this. I'm sure you have information, and you can find more information at the Microsoft Work Trend Index report. You can find it online. But truly, it has revolutionized for us recruitment. Just the volume of applications that we're getting for any one of our posts, be they LinkedIn or Reps or whatever, because it's so easy to modify your resume and send it out. Because you can just go by and rewrite this with this focus and send it out. So we have implemented AI in how we screen that first round of applicants. How we have moved from hard skills and having them be the stars of the recruitment process to the soft skills. Because the hard skills, you know what? Copilot can do it. So when we do that video interview, how can we tell if they have these skills? How can we tell if they're telling us the correct thing or they're making it up just for us to hear? So it's amazing how AI can analyze the tone, analyze the video, and help me identify those soft skills. So much, it becomes so important, the personality of the person, because like once again, the thing can be done by Copilot. So who you are, what your personal brand is, becomes truly so relevant in your recruitment process. Organizations, you mentioned the numbers. I mean, there's no way that this is happening. It's not an evolution, like you said, it's a revolution. And as company leaders, we need to restrict it. We need to really, letting it flow be great, but there's so many directions in which you can go. So leadership really has to take the role here and really help us, how to use Microsoft Envision organizations, how do they channel employee enthusiasm to AI, how can we help them organize it so AI becomes truly functional in their organizations and help them continue to be productive.
We have one left because it's only seconds, but this question for probably 1 hour. But generating this enthusiasm is absolutely crucial, and the way we can encourage it is mostly on the side of creating an environment for learning and experimentation. Because we need to take this experimentation into business value and realize the value in a way that companies will be continuing to to invest in these breakthroughs and this innovation. Just a few ideas that I believe that could be relevant. First, we have to start with a real problem and try to solve it with AI and GenAI. That is happening a lot. The returns on the investments are huge. I was talking about 3.5 times the return. The projects are executed in less than 1 year, 92% of those. Even some projects could be done in weeks, and you see the amazing results, so that's part of it. The second point is that we should take care of both the top-down and the bottom-up approach, from the CEO to the end delivers. Everyone have to be engaged and have to be part of it to make a real cultural shift, and that will require champions and many others. That is what we have done in Microsoft itself, and Copilot, we were the customer zero, as we call it, because we have to make also a huge cultural shift to then share this enthusiasm out there. And finally, prioritize learning. As I mentioned, you have so many opportunities with LinkedIn Learning. There's Copilot scenario library, for example, where also free you can learn. So finally, let's say that AI work comes to stay, as probably as we have been living and connecting to the pre-PC era. There will come a day that we wouldn't be able to imagine how we used to work without AI, and that is happening today. So I have two news to share to close. One is that the technology is not the issue. The technology is available. You can deploy it, implement it in 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, because the cloud allows us to do that. In the past, that wasn't possible. Today, the technology is not the issue. The issue is that you need to make this cultural shift happen in the organization, and that sometimes takes time. So today, we are the second wave of Copilot, for example, with so many new features and components. For the ones that were already using it, it's pretty seamless and to embrace the new. But the ones that are starting from scratch, they have to learn much more. So that's probably my message in terms of the sense of urgency and the big opportunity that we have already discussed today.
Thank you so much, Herbert. Bringing AI to work and using it for recruitment. It's been great. There's more information online at the Microsoft Work Trend Index report. Appreciate your time. We're open for any questions if we can. We have time. Thank you so much. Oh, thanks. That's it.
Thank you.